the most effective way to overcome this intense time of polarity, where the good and the evil within this dream, this polarity dream that we are experiencing right now, we've been experiencing for the last 10,000 years and more. The most effective way to break through this game is to achieve a state of consciousness where we are neutral. So right now we are in a situation of very intense polarity where we are really experiencing an intense level of constriction, contractions, fear, and we are experiencing the effects and the action of those of that small percentage of humanity who is playing the role of controlling power, authoritarian controlling power. They are right now revealing themselves fully to all of us for what they really are and for what they have been for a long time. And they are really bringing to surface the full game of control and enslavement. And they're becoming essentially very obvious to all of us. It's becoming more and more difficult to deny that there are forces that are not benevolent and they want to control and enslave us. And this is, of course, within the polarity game, within this dream that we are experiencing right now on our physical voyage. Of course, the best way to face and to respond to this situation that is getting heavier and heavier by the minute is to apply the idea of not consenting, meaning stop consenting. Because all they are doing is they are able to do because we are consenting a certain level or another. We are saying yes to it. We are consenting. So we need to come to a level of awareness that allow us to understand that we have a choice. And the only way to arrive to this kind of awareness is to remove the victim idea, where we feel a victim of the outside circumstances. So once we are able to take fully responsibility, the ability to respond to the situation, and we stop feeling victim and powerless, then we can embrace fully a choice. We can choose to consent or choose not to consent. Now, about the idea of consenting, there are fundamentally two ways to not give your consent. And there is a very subtle difference between one and the other, but it's a fundamental difference, and it's a very powerful one, and it's the one that will create success or not. So when I say I do not consent, I can say I do not consent from a level of contraction, anger, fear, or I can say I do not consent from a level of neutrality. Okay, so what does it mean, neutrality? Because as soon the word neutrality is spoken, immediately many think passiveness. But neutrality is not passiveness, is action at its best. Is the same action that the martial art master used when he used the force of the enemy to his own advantage. Neutrality means remove the emotional charges that we have within ourselves, remove the drama, because it's only when those emotions are removed that we can act in the most powerful and effective way. It is like if I am in a state of emergency, in a situation, let's say that I am in a building that is on fire, and there are a lot of people inside this building. If I act as in a reactive way, what I do is I try to get out as I can. I just push everybody out of my way because I have to get out. And it might work. It might work. But if I make such a choice, I'm not using my full potentiality, which can be much, much more impactful, not only to my need to get out, but also of service for everybody else. So instead of reacting to the situation, if I stay neutral, meaning I'm not taken by my emotions, then I can deal with the situation in a much more empowering way, both for me and my surrounding. If I'm not on panic, if I'm not in fear, and I stay centered, then I can operate, I can look at the situation, and I can figure out a way how to get out in the most effective way, and also possibly figure out a way to help others to get out too. So that level of neutrality is what it seems to me is required more than ever at this time of our journey, where we have an enemy of life, somebody that is playing, a group of people that are, a group of, I would say, semi-hybrid people that are now pushing forward in order to create a world based on enslavement. And they're pushing really hard right now. So if we react, we play their game. That's what they want. They want our fear, our fearful reaction. They want also our angry reaction. They are perfectly equipped to handle fear, anger, panic, because that's what they feed off and that's what they want from us. What they are not ready to face is a collective that doesn't give its consent without emotional charges. It says no very firmly, very powerfully, but with no emotional charges. In a state of neutrality. Again, that doesn't mean to be passive. It means to be strong beyond what they can handle. Because if we all say no with no reaction, because what you react to, it persists. What you resist, it persists. So you are still in the polarity game for as long as you are in reaction. Because reaction, it comes from a contraction. But if we stay neutral, which means we are very powerful and strong, and we say no with zero reaction, and we are all together in this, then they cannot do anything. I give you an example. If the collective of a country, let's say 20 million people, instead of reacting and fighting, they simply, let's say, take off their overimposed mask for the virus, and they say, that was interesting. Interesting experience. Thank you. But you know what? We don't want to play that game. Thank you. There is no way they can do anything. But for as long as we react and we fight, then we are in the polarity game where there is a fight. It's like Star Wars. I remember I saw Star Wars when I was, 10 years old, the first one? And they were fighting. And now, the last Star Wars, they're still fighting. It just never ends. Because in the polarity game, the good and the evil needs each other to justify their existence. But at the moment one or the other stop to play the role and step into neutrality, the other one cannot anymore operate. The bad needs the good to fight. The good needs the bad to fight. The moment one of the two says, no, thank you, I'm not playing the good and the bad anymore, the good and the bad game anymore, game is over. So this extreme polarization is demanding from us to mature to a point where we can reach a level of full neutrality. And again, full neutrality doesn't mean New Age, I love you all, whatever, and I wait for the universe to save me. Full neutrality means to stay fully in your power and don't allow the emotions of the ego to drive your actions. There's a big difference. So you act in neutrality. That's the most powerful vibrational offer you can create when you navigate through your life journey. And this level of consciousness must be reached by a number of people, otherwise it will not work. Because it's only a few do it, it will not work. We need to raise in a large number. It doesn't have to be all, but we need to raise as many as we can. So, yes, we need to stop consenting, but the quality of the consenting, of the not consenting, needs to be supported not by an emotional react, but by a neutrality, where we see the game, we see the perfection in everything, we don't judge it as right or wrong, we just say, thank you, that was interesting. I'm not in resonance anymore. I appreciate you. I love you. Not interested anymore in the good and bad game. I remove myself. And I love you because you gave me a great experience. But now it's enough. Now I am going to move out of the game and I'm going to continue my journey in a different vibration. This is what will cause the polarity game to completely collapse and will take humanity or part of the humanity that wants to get there, but the part of humanity that is done with the game, because there are some that have not done with the game. They still want to play the game, and that's all well and good. But this neutrality will take us, will remove us from this polarity game, and will take us to a level of consciousness where there will be no fighting anymore. There will be no more polarity. It is a mastery, a level of mastery that is required from us in order to overcome all this. And that's the work that we are here to do right now. It's the only work. There is really no much more that needs to be done but this. It's very challenging work because we have so much programming, we have so much contraction within ourselves, we have so much fear, and the governments of the world are mirroring to us these fears so that we can identify them and then we can do something about it. If we connect with our soul, we will feel excited about this challenge that is in front of us, because mastering a level of neutrality in this extreme polarity, it means that after this there is nothing we cannot do. And it means that we are able to unite ourselves with the organic Mother Earth, which is a fifth-dimensional experience at this point, which is waiting for us. So, to recap what I just said, polarity, neutrality. Neutrality, which means I do not consent. But if I do not consent with anger and with contraction and with reaction, then I'm saying no but is under that no, there is still a yes. It's a yes that is hidden behind the no, because I'm still engaged in the fight. But once I reach the neutrality where I say no and I'm not engaged emotionally, I'm not engaged in the fight, then the fight stops. I love you very much.